Hi, this is Joni Sussman. I'm the publisher of Carbon. Welcome to our new season highlights for fall 2020. We have a number of wonderful Jewish-themed children's books, and I am happy to share them with you. The first is a book called Behind the Bookcase, Meet Geese, Anne Frank, and the Hiding Place. And there are a number of Anne Frank books out there, but this is a special one because it tells Anne's story from the point of view of Meet, who's the Dutch person who, along with her husband and several others, tried to hide the Frank family and protect them from the Nazis. As we know, the outcome wasn't a happy one, but one of the interesting things about this is that Miep herself had been in hiding during World War I, was sent out of her home country to Holland to escape the difficulties of being a child during World War I. So it's a very interesting point of view, beautiful, beautiful illustrations by our Colombian illustrator, Valentina Toro. And it's also partly about the refugee experience, people trying to go from one place to another, which is particularly timely today in our world of immigration stories. The next book is called Does Your Dog Speak Hebrew? This is a very cute book. As you can see by the cover, it is a book of animal sounds, and it shows all kinds of different animals and how they speak in Israel in Hebrew and how they speak in the United States. So, for example, in Israel, a dog says hav hav. Of course, an American dog says bow wow. Other animals also have funny kinds of language that they use different in Israel versus in the United States. Another example is the rooster, which in Hebrew says kukuriku, and in the United States, of course, says cock-a-doodle-doo. And there are many other animals too. This is a very cute board book with adorable, funny illustrations that I think parents will like as well as children. The next book is Happy Birthday Trees, and this is a very sweet book that has to do with Jewish Arbor Day. We have an annual holiday of the trees, which comes in the spring. And in this book, a group of adorable children plant a tree, watch it grow over the season, and finally bear fruit the next year. It's also a great book dealing with ecology and the importance of taking good care of the earth, which is a Jewish value, an important Jewish value as well. The next book is called It's Challah Time. This is a perpetual favorite. The original book was published about 20 years ago, and this new one has all new illustrations. They are diverse, multi-ethnic, adorable children who are learning how to bake challah, and this book is the step-by-step instructions on how to do that, and it includes a challah recipe at the end. Nicanors Gates is a wonderful book that just today received a terrific review in Kirkus, with special note of the illustrations by Alida Massari, an Italian illustrator who's really done a beautiful job with the book, and Kirkus essentially says the illustrations help make the book. This is a book about miracles, and we can certainly use stories about miracles today. It's based on a Bible story of a guy named Nicanor. He is a king, and King Herod in Israel is building the temple, and he's looking for someone to create the gates for the temple. So Nicanor creates these beautiful gates. He is a master artisan. The gates are put onto a ship. The ship is on its way to Israel when a storm comes up and the gates are lost at sea. The miracle, of course, is that the gates surface and do make their way to Israel. The real temple in Jerusalem, which of course still exists, does have a set of gates called Nicanors Gates that are supposedly these original gates. So it is a wonderful story, and as Kirkus says, absolutely beautifully illustrated. The next book, which is our Hanukkah title, one of our Hanukkah titles for the season, is called There Was a Young Rabbi, a Hanukkah Tale. And this is a take on There Was an Old Woman Who Swallowed a Fly. It's very, very funny. It rhymes. This is a harassed young modern female rabbi who is trying to do it all. She's working at the synagogue. She's preparing Hanukkah for her family at home. And it goes through all the typical Hanukkah traditions, latkes, dreidels, candle lighting, cooking and baking. And it's all done in the rhyme that sort of builds one on top of the other. And in the end, it's a lot of fun to try to say the whole thing in one breath. We think this one will be a very popular book, and it's a very cute one for both parents and kids. The next book is called Hillel Builds a House. This is a lovely story about a kid who loves to build things. He loves to build forts, and what he decides to do is to build various kinds of houses for all the Jewish holidays, some of which work better than others. But in the meantime, as he's building all of these different forts, he's getting in the way of his mother, who is trying to prepare the house for the various holidays. So, for example, when she's getting ready for the Passover Seder, he is building a fort under the dining room table, but of course that fort needs to be cleared out in order for the Passover Seder to take place. Finally, we come, though, to the holiday of Sukkot. And this is our fall holiday where Jews build a sukkah, which is a kind of a hut, in the backyard. This holiday commemorates the wandering of the Jews in the desert for 40 years during biblical days, and it's a wonderful harvest festival. And the little boy is thrilled because this is finally a holiday where he can build a house, and he helps his dad build the family sukkah. The next book is Sammy Spider's First Book of Prayers. Sammy Spider, as you may know, is our popular, iconic character. There are 20 plus titles in this series, and in this particular book, this is a Jewish prayer book. Many Jewish nursery schools and even Jewish homes say various prayers for the holidays and even for every day. And this book includes a compendium of some of the most popular prayers that are done by children. So there's the prayer over the bread, there's the prayer over various Sabbath things, there's a prayer for travel, there's a prayer for our country, a prayer for the state of Israel, and they're all done and illustrated in Sammy Spider's inimitable style with this sort of cut paper illustration, as you can see here, sort of a la Eric Carle. And the book includes a prayer on each page, and sometimes it's only part of a prayer. It's whatever is sort of accessible to kids. It includes a transliteration, the prayer in Hebrew, as well as a couplet and a little prayer, a little poem sort of in English to go along with it. The next book is called The Abba Tree. This is an English translation of a book that was originally published in Hebrew, and it is a lovely story about a little girl and her dad. So it's really a relationship story, and it's for the holiday of Tu B'Shvat. As I explained in an earlier one, this is the Jewish Arbor Day, the holiday of the trees. And in this story, the little girl and her dad are outdoors, and she loves to climb trees. She is looking for various kinds of trees to climb. Some are too tall, some are too small, some are too difficult. And in the end, she gets her Abba, and Abba is the Hebrew word for father. She gets her Abba to pretend to be a tree, and he stands up in kind of a yoga tree pose, and she is able to climb up on him. They tumble to the ground laughing, and it's a very sweet story about a father and daughter relationship, also celebrating the holiday of Tu B'Shvat, the Jewish Arbor Day. The next book is The Book of Secrets. This is an unusual book for Carbon. It is one of the first graphic novels that we've ever done. This is by an author-illustrator named Matt Tonti, who is also a rabbi. And he has put together a mysterious adventure where two children, Rose and Ben, a brother and sister, receive a message from their grandparents who are mysteriously hidden, asking the children to come and find them and giving them a map in the form of a book to follow. And this book is full of stories with various parts of Jewish history in them. There are Bible stories, there are rabbinical midrashes, there's even a Kafka story in here. And through these stories, the children get clues, eventually put it all together, and are able to save their grandparents. It is a fascinating and extremely cool book, and we think this will do very well for us. The next book is a middle grade novel called Noah Green Saves the World. And this is a story that takes place at a Jewish summer camp. It's pretty zany. We have Noah, who's kind of a nerdy kid who likes to make videos, and his crazy grandpa who thinks that the world is coming to an end and wants to talk Noah and his friends into saving the world from the aliens that are surely coming from outer space. It also involves some bad kids, some bad guys at camp who are trying to uncover some Native American artifacts and steal them. And the grandpa and the children save the day, not only saving the world from interplanetary destruction, but also helping to celebrate some of the values of Judaism. It's a very fun-filled story. Again, middle grade, ages probably 9 to 13 or so. Our last book is called Benny's War. This too is a middle grade novel. It is by Tamar Stein, who wrote the sort of prequel to this book, which was called The Six-Day Hero. And this story involves many of the same characters. In this story, which is a relationship story between two brothers, the younger brother's older brother has gone off to become a soldier. This story takes place during the Yom Kippur War in 1973. The original story was about the Six-Day War in 67, and the boy who was a child in the 67 war is now a teenager, and his brother has gone off to war. He is very worried about what this will bring both to the family in terms of personal safety, as well as bringing peace to Israel into that part of the world. It's a story about friendship and heroism. The child lives on a kibbutz in a sort of more remote part of Israel, not in one of the cities, and it really gives a wonderful glimpse into Israeli society and the fact that even though there are times of war, even within those times, one can find situations of peace and sometimes even create friendships. So that is Carbon season for fall 2020. We hope you enjoy these books, and we look forward to sharing them with you. Thank you.